Tuesday morning and we're starting the new jobs today. So we used to get handed like a family home that obviously was just full of stuff and you used to have to go through it. Now the ones they're buying are obviously existing HMOs, which are either tired, the landlords of like, you know, don't want to spend any money on them and they're not renting, or they've had issues with them and they think, oh, you know, I've had enough. So just going to the lockup now and we're going to get the extractor fan for dust, crowbars, breakers, everything we need to obviously start ripping the house out. So we'll see. I think it might be too much to ask. Oh, I don't know, we've got a few lads now. Might be too much to have the house ripped out by Friday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But we'll see if we can do it. Yeah, we've got everything now in the company to be able to do it. We've got all the right tools, the vans, the tippers, obviously the staff that know what they're doing. So yeah, let's try and get this house ripped out by Friday, and then once that's all ripped out, that's when obviously everything new goes in. This bit is probably one of the worst bits of the jobs though. So I'm thinking I'm going to go and get all them white suits for the lads, because when it comes to home time, you don't realise how important those little white suits are. You go home covered in black, even with like these mega fans we've got on, even with dust masks, even with everything. You go home with like eyeliner and blowing snot out, black snot out your nose when you have a shower. So right, let's go. Before we start this rip out now, Gary, one of the other builders, does all the drawings, so he does the measures, and then him and Nathan put it onto AutoCAD and obviously submit that. And the only reason we get the drawings done is for the HMO license, I think. So they've got to show where the fire doors are, where the rooms are, the sizes of the rooms. So the minimum size of a bedroom in a HMO is, well, it's over 6.5 metres squared. So we've actually had somewhere when they're in the dormer. So when you're in the dormer, you've got the pitched roof. From 1.5 metres is where they consider floor space. Sometimes you walk into the dormers, don't you? The loft ones, the front pitched, and the rooms look huge, don't they? However, to a surveyor or to like, I can't remember who it would be, to like house the HMO licenses or whatever, they only take it from 1.5 metres. So if that's the pitched roof, whatever 1.5 to the floor, that's where you measure the floor from. So some of them, they look big, you go in, but some of them have been less than 1.5. And funny enough, we've had to put in like 3 pitched roof windows, so that the 1.5 the 1.5 metres gains an extra little, and then that room's been fine. But when you look at the room, it looks bigger than obviously the minimum, because the minimum 6.5 is tiny really. It's like a box room in your semi. But you were asking me, you know, about drawings, so you didn't realise Gary did all the drawings for the student jobs. So you don't need to be an architect to do drawings. There's another word for it, I can't remember what it is now, because I remember I used to Google it. If you pay an architect's been done 7 years, I think they do in uni. Yeah. And they will, or like, unless you're buying a house or you're doing an extension or something that requires architectural detail, so they study like the history of buildings, and they'll know to put certain brickwork or certain patterns in or certain materials, where if you're doing a semi or a terraced house, a rear extension, you don't need an architect to do drawings for you, because you just, obviously you're paying towards someone who's done 7 years in uni, that you're going to be paying higher prices for that. When I can't remember what they're called, I'll have to put it on here once I've figured it out. It's like a nah, my mind's gone. it's a step down from an architect, which is also a qualification that you can do. But you can do what I've done. So I've done the Arc on Evo course, and then obviously download, you pay for the application, and similar to CAD. However, CAD's the most expensive one out there because it's like the most popular, and it's thousands a year to have CAD. So unless you're doing loads of drawings, then obviously you're not going to justify it. But yeah, so we don't need planning permission for the student ones we're doing now. So everything we're doing is in permitted developments. However, I'll probably pre-warn the owners that I know what they're doing now. The council are obviously sending letters out to ask for people to do lawful development certificates. So these do a lawful development certificate for the HMO side of things if they ever need to sell it on. Or when you look at lawful development certificates, I had this on one of my houses where the buyers asked for a lawful development certificate. It's the first time anyone's ever asked me for a lawful development certificate, because normally if you go on the council's website and type in planning and then you search and you filter it for lawful development certificates, 99% of them are just HMOs, basically proving that they are a HMO. So when you buy it, you're not going to buy it and like put 6 students in and planning turn up and go, whoa, you haven't got planning for that. Yeah. You need planning, you're not going to get it, and you've got a 6, 7, 8 bed house that's been done up. So I've had people ring me last week, like friends of friends, who are like, yeah, I'm looking to get involved into property. I've just put offers in on a few houses on Smithdown Road, and I'm going to turn them into like student houses. And I was like, all right, well, you do realise it's Article 4 now there, so unless the houses you're buying are already HMOs, you can't do it. And they were like, oh no, I didn't realise that. So there are some people who get stung by buying houses, say next door to the ones we're doing now, and it's a family home, and you then can't turn that into a student's house. I think you could maybe rent it to 2 students, which probably wouldn't. It's not gonna make much money, is it? You're not gonna get the same returns as obviously the ones we're doing, which are 6 beds. So you can go up to 6 beds, because 7 beds requires planning permission, and you won't get it. Whereas permitted development, you can do 6 beds in Article 4 as long as it's already an existing HMO. So if it's been rented to students for years and you can prove that you've got rental agreements, you've got bank statements showing that money coming in, you've got expenses showing like you're paying for fire things or whatever. But then the other one is a HMO license. So this is totally different to planning or permitted development. A HMO license is like getting tax on your car. So the MOT, let's say the MOT is the planning or the lawful development certificate. You can't tax your vehicle without an MOT, say, but you can get your road tax is just like a formality. So it's just literally like a fee that you pay, and as long as you've got all these other documents in place, so fire regs, emergency light and stuff like that, that's when you'll do it. So I think that comes in, I'm gonna have to Google this because I don't normally handle this side of things. That comes in at 5 people. So if you have 5 people sharing a house, that's when you need a license. And basically all the licenses is just to prove that you're not a rogue landlord. So some of these houses that we do go in, this one is fine. I think this one's got a fire alarm, it's got fire doors, it's got emergency lights, it's got everything that it needs to. It's just tired. Some of them he's bought in the past where like you go in and it's been rented to students and it's just got like normal doors on, it's got like, you know, nothing in place to make it safe. It hasn't even got like fire alarms, for normal fire alarms, never mind the with call points and an upgraded one. So yeah, I'll probably go through. I can probably ask Jordan or Sam, they're like more knowledgeable on that than me. But yeah, let's go and take all this stuff and get cracking on this new house. Morning, morning. He's all excited to get stuck in.
This job's not on my thing, you know what?
Oh, I'll do it now.
So separate the men from the boys here and
Yeah?
the hairs on the chest and that. All on the head, dust on you.
Or dust, yeah.
Lewison.
He's still, I don't think he's in. I'll go and get them white suits. You know, because the first bit's just going to be wood, so we need to go and get both tippers, sort the tippers out so that the CK one's just got the wood on, yeah. So whatever that's got on now, it's got cardboard on it. Throw that on the other one, we'll have a mixed one on that, and then we'll keep the CK tipper as 35 quid. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. It pays for itself on these, yeah. So what? Only wood. Which one is it? 56, isn't it? Morning.
Morning.
What have you got to check?
Heights.
I was trying to explain this to Blaine. I said, "Oh, Gary does all the drawings and then
Layouts, plans.
yeah." And he was like, "Don't you have to be an architect for that?" And I said, "You don't have to be an architect because yeah, well, not an architect does 7 years in uni, don't they?"
Architect, but just not.
I've done 45 years experience.
Yeah. Oh, who's it? Do you remember? I won't say his name, but do you remember on Woodcroft? And we got the plans through.
Stairs.
And
Steel going through the stairs.
I got the thing and rang him and said, "Hi mate, there's a steel. You've put a steel on the drawings," and he's like, "Yeah." I was going, "Any measurements for this?" And he was like, "You know, they're not thinking." I was like, "You know, we need the measurements." I was like, "Because on the drawing, you've got it going right through the middle of the stairs. So as you walked up the stairs, it was like chest height, a steel." Yeah. Right. Hey, wait till you see the house next door, but like 2 is getting ripped out. Hey, Gary, there's a fella ripping them out, and Blaine went yesterday, "Look at his boots." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Oh, he's got footy boots on." I thought, "Oh, you know, like the little Astros or whatever." And he had studs on. He's got proper studs on. Blaine was like, I just heard him like walking, going clink, clink, clink. And I looked and I went, I had to drive back around. I went, he's got proper footy boots on, ripping the house out.
Hey, it might be a subby.
Wait, he'll be there. Hey, he'll be there today, whether he's got them on. And then he jumped on a bike in them as well. Something I always forget to do is get a video before we start trashing this house, so I'll get a drone one as well. Day one, I'm going to get a video before we trash the house. You'll be able to see the difference. Is that open?
Yeah.
I was wondering, you just been singing that, I just copied it. I came in like a wrecking ball. Wait to see, you see the difference now, can't you, in like what people are paying to rent these and then what they look like. Joe's in his element here. Chief smasher. So obviously we need to smash these up so we get more on the van. So hey, don't put a hole in me don't put a hole in me bed though. Hey, look at that now, we'll get well more on here. I love this, recycling. Just make sure we get these screws, by the way. Well, you don't need them on here where someone can drive on them. I was thinking, do you reckon I could get a chipper, couldn't I? You know, we were on these jobs and we had a chipper now. And you're just lashing all them through a chipper. What mil does that do? Because you'd need like a 100 mil one, wouldn't you, at least?
It goes up to the biggest little dudes.
Is it good? I do think that with these, like, try and stand the doors up at the front as well. because otherwise the doors go on and it just blocks everything, you can't get as much on. So one of the first things we do, well, before getting wood out, is I'm going to take this off, and I've just I'm going to disconnect all the cables, see what my screwy. I'm going to take all these out, and I'm going to leave one in, which is this one, and then I'm going to connect the socket here. And the only socket that will work in this whole house is this one in the cupboard. So the only thing we're going to do now is we're going to have one socket in here that works, and then which is on the 16 amp. So I'm just going to test that it does actually trip in the what have we done here? There we go. This now, so it shouldn't trip. And then we want less than 30 milliseconds on times 1. Bloody hell, 6, 6, 9, 10. They're the lowest tripping I've ever had. So yeah, this will trip if one of the lads puts a cable through the extension lead, and then everything else now in the house is off. So, just been to a call out, and the tenants complaining about the cupboards a bit squeaky, so one thing you can do is just go. Now it doesn't squeeze silent now. So we've had one of the tenants keep saying that the door to the bathrooms, like, it won't shut properly, and you know it's really annoying. So one thing you can do is Mick will show you now. So what we're gonna do is just get rid of the door, and then there's no issues then. Yeah. With a top tip. So just on another call out, the tenants complaining that where this is located, they keep like brushing past it and obviously turning it on. So one way of solving that is so now obviously no one's gonna knock it, and with a top tip. So we're in the same house, and the tenant's complaining that the blinds are difficult to open and shut. So one way of solving that is just obviously just get rid of the blinds. So another top tip. So one of the other complaints we're getting is that one of the tenants doesn't like the look of the radiator. Said that, you know, it's a bit cheap, and one of the friends is in a new HMO and it's got a fancy decorative one, designer one. So one way of obviously solving that is just you can just have no rad. Another top tip. So one of the tenants is complaining that the I think it was the cold tap, was it? The cold tap's been dripping, and I think they're in the bedroom behind. But you know, you can either take the valves off, like totally, you know, disconnect it and go through, put new ones on, or you can, you know, a quick fix is just you can just get rid of the sink, and then, you know, it won't drip. Now it'll just drip onto the floor. Me and I'll go. So another issue is that the tenants are saying that the shower screens, you know, not very good, and it leaks and stuff. So one way of solving that is we can either like take this off, or we can just go. That's the strongest shower screen ever. So the tenant's been complaining about the shower screen keeps getting dirty, and you know it's too much work to wash it. So one way of solving that is just. So we've had a few complaints about the tenants saying that, you know, this specific screen is quite hard to clean and it gets dirtier than obviously previous screens they've had. So one way you can get around that, if you can get like a special type of spray, or obviously you can get rid of the shower screen and then it won't get dirty then. So that's another top tip with, you know, landlords. So we're obviously ripping the house out next door, but I've just knocked on the neighbours, Tony, and obviously just to give him my number, and obviously if there's any issues, any vans parking or someone tries to break in or anything. And you were just saying you're a DJ?
Yes, DJ Milky Tea.
DJ
Milky Tea, like a milky cup of tea.
Milky cup of tea. And you do
violin and orchestral, so I kind of use those things together.
Oh, nice.
So.
And obviously local to Smithtown.
Yeah. Local.
How long you've been here for? Over 10 years, haven't you?
Yeah, since 2009. Part of the furniture now.
Yeah. Well, we will try and do this. Listen, we make
quiet way of doing it.
we make noise and mess, but the only thing I'll say is we'll try and do this as quick as we can, because
no worries.
Sometimes it can drag on a bit, but hopefully we'll be doing this in 12 weeks. 10 to 12 weeks I'm hoping for, so
no worries. So here, nice to speak to you.
If you get any issues, give us a ring.
I'll let you know.
Right, have a good day.
Off to my new job now, so
okay, see you in a bit.
Yeah.
So I've just come in the back to see obviously like the rear elevation, and first thing I notice is you can understand my neighbours get annoyed at this. Like people just dumping fridges and stuff they can't get rid of, and saying that way it's just, and then obviously the council can't come down and do, my god, look at the state of that. Someone's literally just emptied their house down there, just all cardboard boxes and stuff. And the council can't get down to kill the weeds because there's too much stuff in the way. But one thing I'm just looking at is this elevation here looks like it's tilting that way, and that like the roof sagged down when you're looking at the gutter. Let's see if we can get up on. No, it's got glass on the wall. And then our friend's back. Good old Budlier. And there's another one there. Great. Hopefully that one doesn't go as far down. It's actually a nice plant, isn't it? But causes what the hell? I've never seen someone barbed wire the soil pipe there. Someone been climbing in. But this one just looks a bit. I'm gonna have to go and get a level on this, because this looks like it's like that. You won't be able to see this on the camera, but what I've done is I've set my laser up and I've got it here, so it's. I don't think you'll be able to see that, mate. But anyway, there's one there, and if I follow that up now, it's about just less than 100 mil. Just less than 4 inches. I'd say it's like a 4x2 less out. So this roof's actually, or this building's sunk here, which it'll be no coincidence that the drain is there, and that's normally what causes obviously subsidence when you have something wrong with the drain and it's like wetting the ground, and that's what obviously makes it sink. So what I've seen before about the thing, this is sunk, and obviously if I was to put the laser on the top or a level, you'd be able to see that this corner of the gutter's obviously sunken right down. It just probably looks worse because the render's all out, and then you've got a few movement cracks here, but nothing too worrying. So I just missed that, but Ben's just pointed out obviously the drain's cracked, and then that's obviously got wet, sunken in, and obviously all that bits fell in. But what we're doing on this house is we're actually extending it. Oh, it's only 3 meters though, so all this wall will be coming out anyway, and that bit, so the bit that's like sunk. So what the building inspector probably asked us to do is to underpin this corner, and then obviously when we build the new extension, the wall, so we'll build a wall sort of level with that pillar on the inside, come out, and we can only do 3 metres on permitted development, whereas that's 4.5 maybe, is it? I don't know if we're doing a 3 metre extension there. Let me have a look on the plan. But yeah, hopefully either way when we're digging we'll fix this issue, because it looks like someone's left the drains to go to pot, and it's obviously caused this over years. You can tell by the plants growing out of it as well. Obviously it's getting water. Nick, what do you reckon this loft's going to be like? So I'm hoping, because this has had students in, I'm hoping it's empty. Some of them we used to do, there'd be like £1,000, £1,500 worth of crap that we'd have to then get rid of. So yeah, we have found like watches and stuff in the past. Eddie. Oh. Yeah, first things first. Bit of wood for the tipper. Well, that one's sound. This is the main loft. Pair of pants straight away. What do you reckon?
Dave, yeah,
Please be empty.
Here's some pants.
Ah, nice.
Empty.
Pretty much, yeah. Look at this telly, lad. You'd be too young to remember these, Joe.
What the fuck is that? What the fuck?
You got it?
Yeah.
Let me get in. You won't remember them, will you?
No.
Nah, they've gone. Which is good. Literally, this is sound. This couldn't have been better, really. There's a couple of bits of non-recycling up here, so...
I don't want to see this plugged in.
See if it still works. Joe's face when that's just come on, he's like... Do you want to keep it?
Probably older than me.
If anyone wants to buy a telly, Joe's selling a telly. How much?
£5 or best offer.
A £5 or best offer. So, as you can see, we've got full load of non-recycling, full load of wood. So Ben's going to take that to Biffa, and Nick's going to take that to Oldham Brothers, and within the next half an hour they'll be back with 2 empty vans again, ready to go. So this is the benefit of having tippers versus skips, because you can see there they've got a skip for, what time is it? 5 to 11. So started work at 8, and in that time we filled those 2. They're going to come back again. We'll probably do another 2, maybe 3 or 4. We'll see how we get on. So now we're getting to the messy stage of the job, where the lads have ran ahead of me before. So we need to pass all this insulation out of the loft, because then we've made a little hole there to pass it through. Luckily this one's plasterboard, which is better. The old ones were laughing plaster, which are a bit hard to get rid of because you've got to separate all the wood. So with these now, what we do is we tap the plaster off, and then we can keep the wood on, and then we haven't got to go around picking like millions of these pieces out of the otherwise that'd just go to mixed rubble. Then they wouldn't it'd take too long for them to separate it. So we normally strip the insulation out of the loft, then we'll kick the ceilings through, get rid of the plasterboard, and then we can get rid of obviously the plaster, and we should be left with all the wood and the joists. Take them out, and then we're left with the brick walls then, which all these internal ones will be coming out, and we just do that in each stage then. What do you reckon end of the day we'll be at? I reckon end of the day we'll have the loft, all the ceilings kicked through.
Hey, by the end of the day you'll have all the ingredients for the crop. Everything's up here.
Is it?
There's your soil and there's your bog.
Yeah.
And there's your grow tent.
Have they got a grow tent up there? Oh, so someone's had a cannabis farm up in this loft at some point. It's not uncommon in Liverpool, is it?
No.
But yeah, hopefully we'll have, I reckon by the end of the day we'll have this and maybe like the plaster off these walls on this floor. That'd be a good target for me, and then we're ready to attack obviously all the floorboards, the joists, and then down onto the ground floor tomorrow and Thursday. So when we get to the messy stage of the job, we've got this, well, I'll talk about it before I put it on. I think it's 24 inch, I can't remember. But obviously ducted out to the back, and this just obviously circulates the air. So any dust that we're making here will obviously get projected out into the air. You ready? When it does that, oh wow. So Mick's just come back with this tipper. Ben's gone to St Helens, so he'll probably be half an hour longer. And then we're just gonna fill it with all this, and then I've ordered a 10-ton skip to get all the heavy plaster stuff in, because obviously these only take a ton. So we'd be back and forth doing loads of trips. I was gonna get two 8-yard skips, but they couldn't guarantee it for today. Yeah, put them in. Yeah, sound. Guess what? Got something to keep you energised.
Come here, fish.
Blaine, do you want some?
Sweet there.
It's looking different in here already, isn't it? Which ones? I'll leave them in here.
What is this?
Is this room staying? Is this the safe spot? There's loads. Well, not loads, but which one of them would you have?
Iron brew.
Iron brew, yeah. I got them thinking someone will like them.
Yeah.
I haven't had one of them in years.
Maybe I do.
See how we're getting on here. There. Where's your mask? Is he just falling off? Is he just coming off easy? Yeah, loose. Sounds getting there, isn't it? Start putting the steels in. So the setup we've got at the minute is whenever you're bringing out the house, if it's lightweight, it can go on this one. If it's heavy, it's going on here, and if it's wood, it's going on this tipper. Now I've toyed with, we will eventually get one, because the amount of jobs we do, you've seen like bushes and stuff, so I'm looking at getting like a diesel chipper. So if we were doing more of these jobs, I'd have a diesel chipper here now, and all that would just be getting lashed in. And we are gonna, when this tipper, you can see it's rusty and heavy. Like when you lift this, I've lifted the sides of these down, these weigh like, they feel like they weigh about 100 kilograms each. So this bed, and I have no idea, does anyone else out there know why you have a steel frame, yeah, you have another steel, and then you have obviously the steel that tilts up for the bed. So why do you have this steel? Because this for me just seems like added weight for no reason. So when I'm planning on redesigning this, I'm going to have steel sheets of aluminium. So we're going to have steel, like normal steel posts. So we probably have like 1, 2, 3 or 4 uprights, and we'll have that all the way around, and then but obviously as high as we can, probably up here, maybe even higher if we can. And then we're going to have on the inside, we're going to have an aluminium sheet which ties in, aluminium bed, aluminium side, and then like obviously aluminium gates, so we can get loads on that as long as it's lightweight. However, does anyone know why? Look at these screws, these are the ones that drop and everyone gets flat tyres. If the tipping body is here, why can't this go on this steel? Like this steel sat on that steel, why can't that just be on to this steel? That extra beam and frame just seems unnecessary to me. So when this one fails, that's what we're going to do. We're going to strip this off completely and just make it as lightweight as we can so that we can get more weight on it. Because at the moment this one's like I say, it's on its last things. We're just going to run that into the ground and then we'll update that. So if we were doing this all the time, I'd have a big diesel chipper, throw all this wood in, and it would be on this one actually with the solid sides, and then this one we just keep for non-recycling, whatever, because this one is removable. So there are times where we do just need a flatbed, so we take the sides off and the gates and we've got a flatbed again. So that's the plan going forward. If we can take more of these jobs on, we get more good staff, we can do that. But yeah, I think it's quite good at the minute how we've got it. We've just got one skip for the heavy stuff. This is why I need the operator's license. If I had the operator's license, we wouldn't have the skip. We just have a heavier van that can take more weight, and it'll come and go each day, and we're not blocking the pavement for the neighbours. So in preparations for the steels now, I've got me laser measure. I used to have a laser one of these, but I've lost it on something. And what I'm now going to do is just get these. So for those who don't know, it'll give you, obviously it'll point the laser and press the button and it'll tell you that's, 30 centimetres away from there. So it's good when you're doing long spans. This one does up to 25 metres, I think it's thingy too, maybe more. But obviously these ones now, so ignore that one, 4.3 metres from this wall to that wall, minus the plaster. So I've just done it upstairs, and the reason I do it at different points is because on the plan this will be 4.3 metres. However, in reality, these walls will be like whatever, and they move. So I've just done it here is 4.3. Upstairs is a bit bigger. So yeah, those steels will be like, you're only talking what 20-30 mil difference. However, when you're talking point loads and on the walls, we've got to swing these steels in, so they need to be exact. Otherwise, what we sometimes do is get them bigger and cut them on site perfect. However, that's time and money and blades on angle grinders, so I'm going to try and order them exact, so that when we get them in, we've got 100 mil bearing on the wall each side, and that literally when they come in, we can just swing them in. Yeah, Dave, quiz question for you. You ready? You're not going to know the answer though until Friday. What waste are we going to take the most of out of this house? You've got non-recycling, you've got what, heavy bricks, mortar, whatever, and then you've got wood.
Timber.
You reckon wood?
Yeah, I've got a wood floor.
Bear in mind we've got the bricks to go as well. All the internal walls. Size, cubic metres. How many vans?
How many van loads? Definitely wood.
What's heavier, a bag of shandor or a bag of bricks? That's all the bricks. Yeah, that's the one.
I reckon, I'd say wood.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
2 floors, kitchen,
So, buying that tipper for the wood alone has probably been one of the better decisions, hasn't it? Only thing is, I don't charge him the same as a skip for the wood, so it's benefiting the owners, not me. So if if I get an off-place licence, I can upgrade these to heavier ones, either 7.5 ton, 5 ton, 7.5 ton, and obviously you can just take more weight on them. But you were saying then you need a licence, don't you? So if you're born before 1990, if you got your licence before 97, I think it was, you don't need a licence to.
Most of these were born before 97.
I know you don't need your licence. I'll check that. I think it was 97. You automatically are able to drive a heavier vehicle. Otherwise, if you're born after, if you got your licence after that, you need to have a class 2. So I've done my class 2, spent loads on all the training, all the things and that, and then I went to buy a truck, and they were like, "You can't buy a truck unless you've got an off-place licence." So I was like, "What's that?" And they were like, "Oh, somewhere where you park it." So I was like, "All right, how do I get an off-place licence?" They were like, "You need a yard." So I was like, "I've got all of them now." I've got a yard. I've done my class 2, and all I need is the off-place licence, and that's what all the neighbours have WhatsApped together and objected to. So that's had like record complaints about my off-place licence. So I've done everything I can just to be able, for what we're doing now, to be able to carry more weight and bigger vans. It's the exact same size. So it makes absolutely
They get the option now, like.
to object. Just that's the process, isn't it? You can every single department of everything, people get options to object. I think the idea is so the idea I understand it from planning point is because, like, you've got to imagine a planning officer, say, let's just say they start new, or they've only been doing it a few years, and they get an application for your house and they get one for mine, and they're going, "I don't know the area at all." So they put it out there for objections. So if you raise an objection, if you just go, "I don't like the look of it," it just gets, I'm assuming it just gets palmed off. But the stuff, even then, even if it blocks it to a degree, they can still pass it. So when I got the planning for my flats, yeah, or suppress it, all that. But that's different to the off-place licence. That's environmental health, so I've already passed them, so they're fine. The off-place licence is purely a truck. It's saying that, have you got somewhere to operate this truck, and is it safe? Have you got an in and an out? Have you got? Yeah, but what? Yeah. Yeah, obviously to us, it doesn't seem fair that, you know, they could say no to my off-place licence, and I could end up, but I could buy 50 of these and operate 50 of these out the same yard, and have a car going through every single hour, all the diesel, more noise, or I could have one truck that just comes in and out once a day. That all makes sense. However, I feel like they're only doing it because they just don't want to build this yard, full stop. It's not nothing to do with an off-place licence. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I think the problem is that they think if it gets granted, it's granted for everything. Then, if you know what I mean, whereas they can restrict it. So I don't know. I'm hoping they just give me something so I'm able to grow my business without. Yeah. Well, you see, some of these vans stay on the street for a week, don't they? Yeah. Oh, well, obviously, yeah. I think that's what they're scared of. It's like everything, isn't it? Everyone's got what's the word? Anticipatory anxiety. So they anticipate having anxiety about stuff that hasn't happened. So it's like they're anticipating 50 lorries going in and out that street all day.
When you think of the size of the yard, it's big, but it's not.
No, it's tiny for that. Yeah, it's the biggest yard I've ever had, biggest storage I've. But no. You got two like grab wagons and that. That's where one thing I think if I opened it as my yard now, if I cancelled the planning application and said do you know what, scrap it, I don't want a steel shed, I'm just going to have it as an open yard, and there's no limitations on what we can do, like operating, you just drive in and out all day, doing whatever you want. I think if I did that and then applied for a steel shed, everyone would go, oh, well, actually the steel shed's going to hide all that stuff that we can see now, and they'd be for it. But what they're all against is the whole idea of a yard, not...
Even the likes of Beasley's not doing something like wagons in and out of
No, but no, we're nowhere near that.
That's what I mean.
But then I think if I run it as a builder's yard, which is what it's down as on the land registry now, a builder's yard, whereas I want to make it, I didn't want to, I was forced into making it a builder's merchants, but I think they'd rather a merchant than a yard, but they don't realise that now. So if I made it a builder's merchant, basically a builder's merchant is a DIY shop.
Yeah.
So it's a DIY shop. If I made it a DIY shop, I think in reality they would prefer that than a builder's yard, which it was. The fella used to do demolition. He used to bring lorries there, dumping tons and tons of bricks. He used to have, obviously, it was all concrete. He used to have like storage trucks there, and like you seen all the gas canisters and whatever else was there. If we used it as a builder's yard and just kept running it like that, I think they'd probably moan about that more than a merchant's. But what they're opposing is a builder's yard, not a merchant's, or they're opposing both. But what I think they're thinking in the head is that it's going to be... But that's what planning do. So that's the idea of planning, that they've done that. So they say out and say, send us your objection. So if everyone just emailed in and said, I don't like the look of it, then planning would go, okay, you know, there's no reason really not to grant it. If they come up with a valid reason for it not being whatever, they just say someone produces a document that clearly, I don't know what it is, but just out of like nowhere they go, here's a document that says that can't happen, and the planners go, well, we didn't know about that, so thanks for that information. Yeah, that application gets refused. So that's what my understanding of the application is, that you go through planning, because who knows more about an area than the neighbours? Some of them have been there for 50, 60 years.
It's all like crushed rubble, dusty. So if the fence goes and the concrete goes in, there's like less dust, isn't there?
Yeah.
But they'd happy just leave that as fence and a little hardcore in there, blowing around everywhere.
It's frustrating for me, but you suppose you just got to go through it and try and tick the boxes. And but yeah, the one at the minute is the new officer who's on it is sort of challenging whether it was a yard, whereas before I bought the yard I asked planning, like, what would you do if you were going to buy a yard and you wanted to know whether it was a yard or not? You'd contact planning department, wouldn't you, and say, I'm thinking of buying this yard, is it a yard, do I need planning to run it as a yard? And they were like, no, it's a yard now, you don't need any. So I was like, yeah, bought it. So if they turn around now and said, oh, we don't think it's a yard anymore, I've lost out because of planning. So I'd have to then try and sue the planning department for loss of earnings, and obviously buying a yard that they're now saying can't build any houses on, can't be a build yard, can't, like, just what? Just make it a wildlife sanctuary, make it a fucking drawing centre for kids or grown men who live opposite. Wow. That is a wrap for Tuesday, and the lads have done very well. I mean, I set them a challenge of ripping out that house. So when I say ripping it out, we want it to look like this, so that it's ready for us to come in and obviously put everything new in then. So we get rid of everything old that could possibly go wrong in a house, like plasterwork, all the old joinery that's sagging and bowed, and then we just literally start fresh. Everything should be brand new, level, plumb and flat. That way, you know, they last the time. I set them the challenge of doing it by Friday. Normally it takes us 5 days. However, I've set them to see if we can do it in 4 on this, because it's a bit of a smaller house. There was not much stuff in the loft, which was good. Sometimes you open them up and there's like it's like an extra floor of rubbish. So you can imagine it costs a third extra. But this one doesn't, it was good. So let me know in the comments. I'll try and get this video out, and obviously it'll be a few weeks until we start the next rip and the next house. So let me know in the comments if there's anything that you're interested in knowing as we go through each stage. I'll try and share it all. However, my phone died today, so this is on my personal phone. And yeah, let me know if there's any questions that you want to know about, obviously HMOs, the stages, the order of things, the costings, the whatever. Open book. Hopefully I'll try and explain as much as I can as we go through. And it's good because hopefully my lads watch this and they learn, and obviously if they're not there at the time of me doing it, that they can see why we're doing the things that we do, because it all has a knock-on effect for the next stages of each of the development. Yeah, I can't talk today. So yeah, I'm off for another meeting about the yard, and what day is it? Tuesday. So I've got a rest. I can go and see Anderson today. But yeah, good day, lads. I feel like they're ahead of schedule, so hopefully it carries on tomorrow. Although that is the mess. This is the messy stage now. That some of the lads are buzzing. To be fair, Joe and Dave are saying, "Oh, I could do this every week, every day," and I was like, "Nah, you can't. You definitely can't. Trust me." Right, enough talk. Have a good evening, everyone.